Hey everyone, not done any live games in a while, but I'm still very much in blitz land at the moment, practicing my new repertoire. And so let's play a game of blitz. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I move between playing a game and then using Lichess studies to hopefully to improve. So I've got the white pieces here. And okay, we've got Scandi. So against this, I'm playing the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit. If takes, knight comes out here. This is the Blackmar-Diemer. The Blackmar Gambit would have been just f3 there, I think. Okay, defends with a pawn, and now f3. Offer up a second pawn in return for a second developing move. Okay, and he declines. Now this is interesting because now I don't know what's going on, right? So. I don't have any, like Gandalf, I have no memory of this place. Okay, so the idea is take out the knight. He'll capture with one of these. Probably E, I would imagine, mess up his pawns. Okay, sanity check, looks good. You have time in blitz games to sanity check your moves, boys and girls. Makes a massive difference. I've been playing a heap of blitz recently. Okay, so what's the situation? I'm looking good, ready to castle. I think I'd like to put my queen on e2 at some point. Is he going to stick his king there? I don't know. I could play bishop d3 and look at this pawn. That looks all right. This pawn's still defended by the knight. I might still put my queen here, and I've got options then. Interestingly, because the f pawn has gone, castling short would actually put my rook on a semi-open file. Okay, so he's defended that pawn. Now, where do we want to castle? I think short. Then I've got the option of rook e1. Okay, are you really going long? Okay, I'm going to play queen d2 so that I have this idea, defended by the queen. Oh. Really? I don't want to take and give up my bishop. It's a good bishop. He's got light square pawns. I don't know about going here. If he pushes, I have to retreat all the way to here. I don't want to encourage his pawns to keep creeping up on my king side, so this is still an option if he decides to push on. So I will admit, sometimes, even in a 5-minute blitz, I will occasionally check once I've got through the first opening moves and I'm just into playing chess. I will sometimes, during the game, flip over and say, well, what should I have done on move 5, you know, like that. It's not cheating because, okay, this is now fine, I think I can just take it. It's not cheating because I'm looking at previous moves and what I should have done rather than what I should do next. Okay, but this looks like it's a free pawn, right? It's 2 attackers, 1 defender. And the bishop can't retreat because takes. It could just sit there and let me take it, which is all right. Okay, he's just sitting there. And if I take king takes, right, if he takes here, my queen and the pawn are defending that, queen is defending that, so I think I should maybe what my rook can do. Oh, I'm going to pin the knight. That's what I'm going to do. Pin the knight. You are now pinned. You're out of the game. You are frozen. You're out of the game. King is move. If I take here, king must take. Then I can't get my queen straight on there, but 2 attackers on the knight, 2 defenders. If I take out this knight, or there, check. If he takes, I come here and fork. Yeah, wow, that's cool. It's kind of a gimmick, but so he can't take the bishop because I have this with a discovered check by the queen, and I win his queen. So he can't advance. Now, that means he has to retreat, right? And then what do we have? I really want to get my queen onto one of these two squares, don't I? Still two attackers on there. I'm going to take it. I'm just going to take it. And I'm thinking... Right, that knight's no longer pinned. Oh, there, if queen takes, it hangs this pawn. So if their knight must take... Okay, so I can win this pawn, eh? I think I can. I think I can. Because the queen is the only defender of the pawn, right? So now, material is equal, but this is now looking kind of healthy for me. Queen recaptures. Rook takes here with check. Okay, rook there. King has to go there, 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 or there. Right. Okay, I can always just come back. So that's alright. So I'm a pawn up. Okay, king has moved. Let's see what the follow-up is. Notice that king and queen are in line, but I don't have a bishop. I could maybe force a trade of queens. That pawn is undefended. But I can't come there and attack it. I can't come there and attack it. So I'm thinking probably double up the rooks. Makes sense. I'm down to 44 seconds as well, so... Right, let's go here. Pre-move the recapture, okay. Oh no, I don't want that then. Do not want that precious. Okay, let's hit the queen instead. 37 seconds. Okay, where's the win? Is there a win? Queen takes there. I need to slide over to one of these two squares. Okay, I'm going to come here, attacking this, but actually secretly going here. And defending this pawn. And threatening maybe this, something like that. Okay, this is fine. So now I've got mate in one. And how does he defend it? Rook here, doesn't work. Queen here. I got rook there. Okay. Rook here. Oh, wins knight. Ah! Okay, pawn check. This is now getting hairy. He's got 2 minutes 10 on, down to 26 blooming seconds. Check. Check is never a bad thing. Check. Yes! Alright, okay, so there we go. Up to 1375 in blitz. I'm struggling to get through the 1400 mark. I really want to get to 1500. I feel like if I can get to 1500 in blitz, which is higher than I've ever been in blitz, then I'll be ready to re-enter the world of the rapid. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up. So I've got bookmarks for all my studies for my repertoire. Okay, so as white, we've got a Blackmar-Diemer Gambit. So I've got Freddy Krueger white repertoire there. I've got Eric's Crush the Caro-Kann, which I'm studying, and he's got a Lichess study on that. I've got Vienna one, I've got a Danish one, which I use in blitz, and still do quite well actually with the Danish. And then I've got one for the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit, so I'm going to pull that one up. Okay, here we go. And this is the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit, but we didn't have that. We had, okay, how many chapters have we got? Just this one, okay. So, main responses are knight to defend the pawn, bishop to defend the pawn, but we've just seen this one, okay. So this could actually eventually be a chapter on its own. Okay, so we did that, and I'm going to turn on Stockfish, and you don't actually have to run the game report in chess.com, because you can use Stockfish in combination with the player database here, the Lichess database. Alright, so it says f3 does very well. F3 is by far the most common move, which is the signature Blackmar-Diemer move anyway. This is the Netherlands variation apparently. Bishop g5 does well in the wild with a 64% win rate. And that is interesting, and that's over 1,000 games, 1,182 games. So that ain't bad. I mean, that is statistically relevant, yeah? F3 is typical. So 56 against 40 is pretty good, but 64 against 33. I'm tempted to look into that, so I'm going to play this move. It's recording my moves as we go. And then look at this, all the most common moves from black now don't do great. So what I'm going to do here is I click on the move, I go back, click on move 2, I'll go back, maybe click on move 3, right? So now I'm going to go through each of these. So knight f6, bishop c4. So just throwing my pieces out into the board gets 63. Good, happy with that. Okay. The computer doesn't like it, computer favours black, but only if black plays e6. Black plays e6, it's good. Is there a good defence for white? f3 or a3? f3, a3 defends against this. But f3 is better for white. I mean, 54-43, you'd take those odds, right? Okay, and I kind of like this position. White is slightly better, so I'm going to add that as the comment. White is slightly better. Okay, that's plus over equals is the notation for that. But looking at this setup, I'm feeling quite comfortable. If this pawn never takes, I bring my final minor piece out into the play. I've got 3 pieces against black's 1. Okay, so that's all good. Now let's go back to this move with bishop g5, which looks interesting and looks kind of winning. And look at the next line, which is h6. And h6, you can see the eval bar has just gone, right? For h6, oh no, it has to be a blunder. So I'm going to mark that as a blunder. The question is, why is it a blunder? Because of queen h5, check, right? And it's just, you know, history is just telling me this. So it's teaching me my own repertoire. Queen h5, check. This doesn't work because queen takes and it's check. So what is being played? Bishop d7. What? No, king d7, of course. Right, king d7. Then, yeah, bishop c4 here is totally winning. d5 is totally winning. Long castles is totally winning. I like long castles, actually. Not played as much. Minor pieces out into the board, bishop c4, and white is winning at that point. So happy days if we get that one. Okay, let's go back to this position. So remember, it's in response to f5. We play this. Okay, super. And in fact, is that what the... Yes. Oh no. The machine is actually suggesting bishop f4 here as the slightly better move. But also pawn to f3. Bishop g5 only a touch behind. So anyway, bishop g5 is what we're going for because it gets real world results. Okay, and option 3, g6. And after f3 now, white tends to win an awful lot. Also d5, white tends to win. Oh, it's only been played 5 times, so not enough numbers. f3 is the move. It's got equal position, but if e takes, which is very common, we've got knight takes, and white is better. So white is better. That's plus over minus. There we go. All right, and that's basically what I do, right? So this is the game that we just had. Da, 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 da. So what did I do, right? Let's have a look. Da, da, Blackmar Gambit, Blackmar-Diemer, pawn to f5, and I played f3 here, which we know isn't bad, does actually quite well, but what we're going to do in future is this move. So the point is, how then do you remember that in the future? Well, I think that repetition is a good way to do it. I've really tried to get on with chessable courses to learn that kind of just repetition. But for me, just telling myself a few times, you know, like if somebody tells you that their name, and if you make sure that you use their name 3 times in the next few minutes of the conversation, you'll be a lot more likely anyway to remember their name in future, right? So you can just do here, okay. So Blackmar-Diemer, f5, we play bishop g5, okay? That's it. Okay, so, and we could, even maybe split this off into its own chapter. So let me show you how to do, there's a few ways of doing it. Okay, so this is the bishop, this is the, hang on, knight c3, yeah. Okay, so bishop f5 here should actually be a variation, so I click force variation. So we've got 3 variations here, okay. Now, what you really should be able to do on Lichess, which you can't, is to say clone chapter. You can't. You can clone the whole study, I do believe, right? And here I want to let everyone browse. Okay. You can clone the whole study, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click share. So this is all I want to do. I want to be able to go, okay, literally copy this chapter, and it won't let me, right? Because sometimes you just want to branch a chapter off. You want to say, okay, well, I've actually got 2 things going on in that one chapter. I want to split them into their own chapters. But here's how to do it in Lichess, right? Not there. You click on it, you go chapter PGN, you download it to your desktop or wherever. You say add a new chapter, and this one's going to be, okay, we'll call this the new chapter bishop f5, right? So new chapter, bishop f5 line, it's for white, blah, 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 yep. And I choose the PGN, and you just have to keep re-importing it, which is ridiculous because, Lichess could do that so easily. Okay, so, okay, so that's the move 3, and we're going to delete that one, and we're going to delete all of this, yeah. Okay, and that's it, bishop f5. Bishop f5, we do f3, e takes, oh, it's saying queen takes. Queen takes f3 is better than knight takes f3. Wow. Well, there you go. I did not know that. I did not know that. New shit has come to light. All right, so now chapter 1, we're going to get rid of the bishop f5 line, delete. We're going to get rid of, hang on. So knight, okay, this is the knight f6 line. Okay, so we don't want knight f6. I'm going to say delete from there. So now f5, so this is the f5 line, and we're going to do this. Okay, I'm going to say force variation on that. So now this is the line. F5. Okay, so we're going to rename this chapter f5. Right, from the basic position. And f5, we know this, and it's even remembered it. Okay, there you go. All we have to remember is that. And then common variations, h6 is a total blunder because we go this. Okay, now I know this. If knight f6, just try and remember what to do. If knight f6, without looking, I think, was it bishop c4? It was bishop c4. Great. Okay, develop your pieces. And then if e6, probably f3. Yeah, f3, and we're in a slightly better position. We've got good development, 3 pieces out, and so on and so forth. h6, we've seen g6. Could be that, could be that. Let's have a look. It's f3. Okay, g6, you just play f3. And if they take, you recapture the knight was slightly better. Okay, so there we go. And that is how I train right now. That is how I'm practicing. There's no issue. You could easily download the study PGN and import it into Chessable with ease and train it on Chessable if you like that. I may even do that, I don't know. But for me right now, this seems to be working. So there you go. So nice little blitz game there using the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit as white. And I like the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit. So let me just show you why I like it, right? So you can get to it from a few positions. You can get to it from d4, d5, and then you play e4, right? If you're a Blackmar-Diemer player. Also, but if you're an e4 player and your opponent plays the Scandinavian like this, now, the most common move by a mile, a country mile, 80% of the time, white takes. 80% of the time. So your Scandi player, right, 4 out of 5 games that they play, they're going to get white takes, and then they'll either take back the queen, they'll play the modern variation, etc. Right? E5 is the second most common move, and that's not brilliant. That's actually slightly better for black. And I'm always happy when I see that move when I was playing the Scandi, right? Which I don't play. Well, actually, I'm not playing at the moment, right? The next most common move is knight f3, which is the what's the Tennyson Gambit, the ICBM, right? They play this. You want them to take. You come here and attack the pawn from behind, and there is this ICBM trap line, which is lots of good fun, but isn't for serious play at all. Then you've got knight c3 is the next one, right? And then here in 5th place in d4, with only 1.6% of the time, you get this. And that's what I like. Yes, the bars just said, oh, black's slightly better here, but only if black knows their prep, right? And if you think about it, every time if every time I face the Scandinavian as an e4 player, I play the Blackmar with d4, right? So look at this. So let's say I'm an e4 player, right? Every time I see d5, now how often is that? It's the 5th most common, but it's 7.4%. Okay? That's what, 3 times out of every 40, is it? Something like that, right? So it's relatively like 1 in 10, 1 in 11, 1 in 12, 1 in 13 times, right? 1 in 13 times I will see the Scandinavian, right? And then I'll know to play the Blackmar. Now, your Scandinavian player, right, who always plays d5 in response to e4, how often do they see the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit? They see it, we've already seen, 1.6% of the time. So 1.6% is like, I don't know, 1 in 70 odd. Okay, so they just don't get experience in this, but I do. So if I get into this, 1 in 13 or whatever games, when I get the Scandi, I'm a lot more familiar with it than my Scandinavian opponent. Do you get it? That's how it works. So there you go. And of course, as usual, all of my studies are available on lichess.org. It's just do a search for owner Ben Hunt, all one word, and you can get access to all of these. Some of them are good, some of them are very dubious indeed, but they're all there for you to enjoy. You can copy them, you can download the PGNs, you can import them into whatever you want, and study to your heart's content. There you go. So, thanks for watching everyone. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.